Alright guys, welcome back. This is going to be a slightly overdue update for April and May. It's May 5th. And we got some bench work, we got some new rolling stock from the last train show I went to, as well as 2019 show in Birmingham. So as always, let's jump on into it. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to start with is over here on this side of the room. Something to note that I'm rather excited about. The bench work has actually turned the corner around the Peninsula, so that Subroadbed's in. Got this piece in, need to trim it just a hair. Work on getting this line for this piece a little matched up to the edge right here. Get this lines on here and then trim it, and then trim a few lines on here. So that's the next thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that hopefully tonight, a little bit Thursday or Friday or this weekend, one of the two, somewhere in there. But pretty much the idea is it comes down, the siding ends right here, and this whole side of it is going to look like abandoned track, or old roadbed at least, because it was actually double tracked in the Logan until the mid 1920s. So I want the extra width, and I can do some stuff with the roadbed and, you know, get some more realism out of it. But obviously that's going to go there. I'll have another number 5 left right here, and you can tell that's not in at all right now. But a left hand, and then it's going to be filled in here. The main line will curve off. This track is going to go straight. It'll have a little bit of a curve in it. And as for the arrangement over here, we've got the graph that shows where the reversing section is going to punch through the backdrop. So I need to cut out some hardboard, some Subroadbed that goes from there to there, make it part of this module. But the idea is a number 4 turnout, and this is a Pico Code 100, so I'm not going to use it as the actual turnout, but I'm going to hand lay it so you get the gist. Number 4 left there. So the reversing loop, which is going to be disguised as an old beat up main line, probably code 70 track. Actually, I know it's going to be code 70 track through this route. This over here is probably going to be code 55. But the turnouts will be code 70. So, going to do that. And then have another number 4 right here. And then these two are going to be the 9 tracks. So basically they're going to run the whole length down to here, and pretty much capacity for essentially 3 coal hoppers. So empty, and they're empty. So about right here is where the tipple's going to be. A third empty. So it'll take 2 cars on each track, so it'll take 4 cars. And the reason for that is, for those of you who don't know the way coal mines actually worked, especially back in the 50s, the tipples here, they would shove the cars past the tipple here, and then pull them under and load them sequentially, ... That's why you see, especially places that load up cars, with the loading shed in the middle of the spur. And so therefore the amount of cars you're actually sticking is half. So that's the idea. And the only other thing I'm going to do is put another number 4 off of that, and this is going to be a team track and just various parts and supplies. So like explosives, supplies for the coal company warehouse, the general store, and stuff like that, etc., etc. So that's pretty much what that's going to be. But the idea is, over here you've actually started a grade. I want it to be about 1.7 around the curve, the effective grade. So it's still climbing, which means I'm going to cut this out, trace it and cut it out. The farm fill will be level, and then this back here will be down on the frame, and I'll just build up my foam and everything and carve it to get right here. You're going to keep going up as you curve, the main line curves around. The straight rod is actually going to crest off back in here, and then by the time it gets to here, it's actually started going down. So it goes down all the way through the backdrop over there, and I'll probably put a cork ramp, but it does that. And then obviously this whole area in here is level, so there'll be a couple different plywood heights. And then like right here, the scenery plan, I'm going to have a dirt road coming over, some mining houses, a hill here probably, maybe a pond, and then a ridge that makes a view block, and the dirt road will come through it. We'll have a ridge, we'll have a cut right here that'll hide the track, mountain ridge along the back, big ridge that comes out, our farm field, our dirt road. We'll cross the straight track and I'll just kind of climb up, and then it'll actually curve. I'm going to have a creek right here, a culvert, and that creek will have some rapids and some low falls. The road will curve up, go over a bridge, and then looking from this angle, you'll see the bridge, you'll see a mirror. They'll continue on, and then you'll have a berm and whatnot with trees, kind of give it some distance, and then you'll have another ridge that comes out and actually comes across and have a cut. So that's pretty much what the plan is for this side of the layout for the scenery. Obviously, right here I'm going to have a hinge up or a lift out or a swing gate or something, and then right here I'm probably going to have is where you're going to stand to work the coal mine scene. So I'll have a UP5 down there, and if I need to, control for that turnout. But kind of the whole idea is I want a phone here, so that way when you're switching it, you have to call the dispatcher and say, hey, I'm coming out from, you're on coal number 2 or whatever I decide to name this. I need 10 minutes of tracking time, which you shouldn't normally, because those cars, you basically got from the clearance point through this turnout along here as a switch lead. So that should be enough to fill with all this right here. And then on top of that, when you actually go and shift this, I will probably make this a separate run by itself that just goes to work this. So, you'll come in here, do what you need to do. You'll shove in caboose first, and you've got this to kind of shuffle around. So operationally, this connection does not exist. This is going to look abandoned on this side, but this does actually give you places to put a couple cars while you're switching this. And you don't have to use it. You don't have to go on the main. So that's pretty much what's been going on there. Is the plan with that. But that's the first thing. So coming around here, you've seen that. And I have to continue the framing a little bit. Come over here. Then have it go at an angle like this. And then in, over. And then obviously there'll be another diagonal bump that comes out. Out and then in. Gives you a square angle for the track that curves off. So that's pretty much what's doing it. The big thing I'm looking forward to is getting that traced and cut out, because once I do that, both sides of this, a backdrop, are going up, which is the hardboard on the other side, and then for this side, Most of you viewers have probably not seen this yet, but the backdrop that my late mother hand painted. So that's going to go on this side, and I'm really looking forward to getting the scenery to work with it. So that's pretty much what's going on there. Modded this a little bit to actually get a relatively snug profile along here. This is going to get sanded down and everything. And then this came out of one big piece of plywood. The remaining of that piece is going to get trimmed for around that post right there. And then it's going to get screwed down to this frame, and it's going to be a base for the town, the other half of this town over on this half layout. So that's pretty much what I've been doing inside. If we work our way around here, the other thing of note, wow, I don't want to put down track, is that the DCS, well, I'll walk back over and show you guys this real quick because I don't think you've seen it. Thanks to the efforts of me and my buddy Will, I got the control center in. So there's my DCS 100, my computer power supply. I've got a bunch of my lines coming out, so all the 5 volt and the 12 volt and the 3.3 and everything. And then we've got a 12 volt bus run for accessory, and then a 5 volt bus run to, you probably can't see it, but there's a couple fans way back there. So when we kick this on, those fans automatically come on, helps keep everything cool. So he helped me come up with that. But so the workaround, I'll show you a couple things, some of the stuff I got. So as far as parts, I'll show you the rolling stock here in a bit, but we're just going to work our way around. So as far as parts from this show, the last one in Gadsden, Alabama, I picked up 2 of, and I like that there's a guy that had parts, so I picked up 2 of the ribbon rail track alignment gauges. This is a 24. I picked me up this one, I picked me up a 22. 5 packs of the Magnamatic number 37s. They're not the Whisker, unfortunately, but they are the underset shank. The new motor mounting pads, which are meant as replacements. These are essentially the new versions of the old white ones that you just pressed in. And these are made of a different plastic, so they should not dry out with time. Got me another pack of rear mount 33-inch mil wheel sets. McHenry couplers for some of Will's equipment. Got me a pack of 148s. The guy did have a pack of bulk, but he wanted like $80 for them at a trade show, and that's beyond retail price. That's ridiculous. So picked up that. Picked up some new couple of cover boxes. I usually try to convert mine to KD screw-mounted KD boxes, but I have a few that have this, so it never hurts to have some of them. And then the last thing I picked up is even have the 42-inch wheels, because it never hurts to have a few of these, is some Walther's Proto accessories. 42-inch wheels. And I got these because most of the engines they fit are the ones that most likely need between Will's collection and my collection. So, other thing I picked up at the show, and a huge shout out to Baxter Barnes, if you're watching this, it's great to meet you, man, is a Pico Code 75 left hand for, I don't know if you're going to sticker, $10. So that was a steal. The other thing is, you can't see it very well because of all the junk on the table here. I'll move some of this stuff so you can try and see it as best you can. But I did start tracing out the lines over here to get an idea what would fit. So I need a pointy thing here. There we go. So obviously on the turnout here, this rod is the main, this is the connection to the switch lead, and then that spur right there is going to be a supply track for the engine terminal for the roundhouse. So box cars, locomotive parts, that sort of thing. But if we trace that down here, the diverging on this is the main line, and then the straight is the beginning of the siding. So come down here, that means the diverging on this is the main line, this will lead to the engine track, this is your siding, and this is the connection to your switch lead. So the reason I did that was so that way I've got a pocket from here, clear back, come along here to there. So when inbound trains are coming in, I can cut the power here, it can move up, the yard crew can do their thing, and then the power can back on and recouple and go. So that's what that's for, but you can kind of see the two center lines where they come down, come over, and then start curving. I have checked this with the cardboard track templates I made and the rubber mill gauge, and everything's going to line up very, very nice. So that's what that's doing. But nothing too much new over here. This area, whole area is really kind of not doing too much. It's probably not going to until I actually get to track laying, and then we'll get the turntable going and everything else. But right now it's sub-roadbed mode, then cork, and then the track, and then we can get the backdrop up and do some more lighting. So the other thing, which, pardon the shakiness, but I'm going to turn the command station on real quick. I should have done this before, except for the fact that it was already on. It was not in standby mode. Okay. But as we come along, the other thing is, I don't think I pointed this out, but all three of these turnouts have torque switch machines on them, finally. I've got one on there, it's not hooked up, and I've got the machines to do probably nearly the rest of the layout. And then those two right there need to be mounted. I do have a DS64 under there, but it's not hooked up yet either. It's hooked up to LocoNet, but none of the wiring or power supply. So that's what I want that. But the Pico curve turnout, and then both of these where the caboose is sitting, and then that one right there are all hooked in. They're already powered. But one of the things Rich did was he helped me program about 3 DS64s. I've got one of them right here. There'll be another one below it. And you can see from the heartbeat, it's on. Such that, if I grab my DT402 and go switch and put in 35, actually no, that's one of the straight ones I want, 37. Oops. 37, not 377. Wait. Okay, switch 37. It's enclosed right now, so we will go to okay, throw. And that terminal. So I switched wires around a couple times, but I did get it to where closed will route the train through all the turnouts and onto the backtrack, which I was going to make on and off, but I decided to leave it on and powered and as a signal block, so I have a run through. But closed will route them through there. Thrown will route them sequentially to each one of the 3 staging tracks I have. This side's not done yet, obviously. I Need to slightly rework this because the yard ladder is going to curve and then come in to get around the door. But the plan is to actually take advantage of that and set it up so that with this door closed, I'm going to have a stool and a little plywood shelf right down there. And the plan is to have that be a operator nook. So when we're running operating sessions, somebody's going to stand there, and because this represents either Charleston on this side and Columbus on that side, they're going to call the dispatcher and report as a train on sheet when it leaves and when it exits. Whichever one endpoint, depending on which direction it's going. So that'll be there, and I'll probably also have try and find a nice little monitor to put some like micro closed circuit TV cameras or something to kind of watch the staging yard. I'm going to have viewports along here, but again, remember this right here is actually going to be covered because up here is where I'm going to have Logan, not Logan, New Straitsville and all that stuff is all going to be up there above that. So that's what's going on with that. The other thing that we'll experimented with, and I'm honestly really like how this turned out. I've got to find where he did it, but if I can find the time, okay. So right there, wow, this is a rotary camera. He filed down the rail just enough to make it make a clickety-clack. He did that to 3 or 4 spots, and I like the effect enough that I think I'm actually gonna do it around the whole layout. So thanks to him for that. That was a rather neat little discovery. Very cool. But that's pretty much what we've been doing in here. And then to go along with that, all 4 of these tracks are wired up. All 4 of these are wired to their individual buses. And eventually there will be 3 separate toggles, one for each track on here. But for now, I just got them wired up into the one. So if I flip this on, clunk, which I'm not going to do because I've got a DC engine on the track and I don't want to damage the Kato motor. But if I flip that, it will turn these on. So that's in and tested. I could be doing the next signal block, but I need to adjust the Subroadbed here to get it to match right there. And I kind of just want to get bench work done. So I'll just do that when I do the track and the wiring. And then as far as other purchases, so equipment purchases, we're going to have a look at those real quick before we go out to the garage, and I'll show you what we've been doing with the modules for the new layout at the Railroad Museum. But a couple of things I picked up rolling stock wise. First couple have been for Tim. We've got a Great Northern. I'll try and get my that shadow out of the light so you can see it. This car, I have no idea if you can tell it. No, you can't pick it up. But on this has been weathered really, really well with a layer of ink wash. But it's Great Northern box car. The build date is new, 1948, so it fits in everything. It's heavy, probably a 1/4 ounce over than I recommend it, but that's fine. I like that. It's got KD couplers on it, and then Tim had KD wheel sets in it, which are fine, but since, you know, I need something that's easy to add resistors to for the detection, and I'd already decided the solid air mountain wheels, I went ahead and swapped those out. So they do. No, wait, these were already on here. It's the other cars I swapped out, excuse me. So, yeah. The next car I picked up from him, and this was a year ago at the Birmingham show, is this one. It's a... Okay, yeah, this one I did replace the wheels on. But it's a roundhouse car, main central, and man, this really does not want to show the weathering at all very well. You can kind of see it. The weathering's a whole lot better in person, but it is weathered, so the weight was loose in here, so I went ahead and popped it out and put a bunch of automotive tire stick-on weights in there to get it back down to what I like. I probably added a half an ounce or a quarter too much, but again, I like cars. And then obviously, yeah, and see, it is showing the rust effect on the bottom, and you can see it on center seal. So, and then ear mounted metal wheel sets. So the third car I got from him is, I was kind of shocked at this. This is a, ooh yeah, now you can really see it. This is a GBFX 7202 pickle car. Now the build date on this thing is new 1138, and I haven't changed the wheels out on this because this already has air mountain, but he weathered it too. So I am totally enthralled with this. I have a pickle car. It's great. And this is one of those things that like really defines layouts era. So very happy with this. And then a couple of things, other cars I picked up. Trying to remember. These two were not from a train show. These are just ones I had completed recently. I'm trying to see. Okay, and that could be was a part of it. I'll get to it in a minute, but a couple cars I completed recently. Good, this FGX. Now this is one I got from him at a show. Went ahead and added some weight to it and put metal wheels on it. I do not have this number, so it is. I did do the digging and make sure. The built date is probably in the 20s, but it has a JAX built date of 352. So needs some ink wash, but it's probably not going to get too heavy of a weathering job because, again, it's only a year old for the layout. And then, of course, this is my buddy Will's, but I went ahead and finally got this thing worked on a little bit. Put the wheels in there, mountains, painted them. Got this car back together. Put Katie couplers on it. And yeah, so it is in the system. I haven't put these in JMRI yet because I'm a long ways off from that, but I do need to put them in the Excel spreadsheet. So I will get to that at some point. The other thing I have borrowed from him, actually from the museum technically, is a Southern 55-ton hopper. So this will get metal wheels eventually and weathered and everything. Right now it's holding Gap Masters. And then the last thing I picked up from the Gadsden show, and I was absolutely shocked when I found this. I managed to find one of the Walther's Protocino 25-foot wood cabooses, but I think somebody got it and then started changing it because it's got unpainted metal grab irons and plastic wheels. And Proto doesn't come with plastic, so it's rough. The other side does not have any of the grab irons. I need to add that. Lettering's a little faded, but I mean, yeah, whatever. But yeah, found one of those. So that gives me 4 of those, and every single one of them has different road numbers. So the caboose fleet is up another, but it's pecking away there. Another thing I picked up recently, this was not from a show, I bought it at Gadsden, but it was from Kenny. This is a original 1980s Kato GP 7, I think. But where I'm trying to find it on here. It doesn't necessarily show it, but it actually is complete with the steam generator equipment on the locomotive. And this, I got to be alternate power just for the passenger train, for locals, miscellaneous. Because remember in my Pro Freelance history, since all the coal mines in reality went out of Logan, Logan becomes kind of the last steam stronghold. And everything west of Logan, through freights, everything except for coal drags, really Columbus north, is dieselized. And since the local runs from Logan to Columbus, basically Columbus east is mostly steam. And Logan is the steam shops and the hub of the steam locomotives. Everything east of Logan, definitely as far as coal, is very thoroughly steam. So into Charleston. So good about half the railroad steam, half of it's not. But so yeah, this is, like I said, this is a genuine original Kato and everything. It even says so on the bottom. There you go, folks. Kato, made in Japan. But this is one reason why I love this. The frame is completely, it's metal, but it's not the lightweight metal like today's. It is heavy as a log. Cast metal, cast iron, heavy, extremely heavy weight. That's phenomenal. So I've not run this thing around in loops yet. I need to let Will do it since it's DC. I haven't converted it. But it's a Kato, so I have no doubts it's going to be phenomenal, and I'm really glad to have it. So, and obviously too, eventually, as much as I love Rio Grande paint, I'm not modeling Rio Grande, so the lettering is going to have to come off, and then the chevron striping on the ends is going to have to come off. But I mean, the one thing I love about this, you can kind of see from the light pipes, the number boards and the headlights do come on. The locomotive does not have marker lights on it. Well, it does, but they need to be drilled out, so I'll probably do that too. But either way, that's that. And the other good thing about it is I have just about all the, with this, as far as acquiring, not necessarily where they're ready to go, but acquiring all the engines I need for this layout to cover everything. Cover everything with the exception of one train, but everything else, I'm a Kato to actually work the branch. A couple of 2662s for coal drags. A pair of F7s for the scheduled freight, and then this GP7 for the scheduled passenger. I'm just about there. So, and then of course I got the UPF units to fill in. Still have a long ways to go on engines over the next about 10 years, because I made the decision to go with brass for steam engines. So there's the long-term 10-15 year process, and then there's the immediate shorter term process. In the short term, I'm probably about halfway there. So one thing at a time, bit by bit. So that is going to be it for inside. Let's pop out to the garage. I'll show you what we're doing out there, and then that'll probably be it. So let's jump out to the garage and I'll show you what I've got out there for museum modules. Alright, so out here in the garage, and as you can tell, we have had a building fest going on. So I got a whole bunch of stuff happening out here. We've got 2 more modules for the, excuse me, I'm not on wide, for the new layout at the museum going. I've got module A, which I'm working on. It just decided to be really stubborn and not want to be square at all. And like, you know, the edges not want to be straight. So it's giving me a little bit of it's being a real big pain in the rear. But it's being worked on. The other module for the museum we've done, module I think it's F or whatever, is actually completely done. It's ready to go over. So we're running excursions this weekend out to the museum, so I'm going to take this with me. And then the other big thing we did was the rail joiners and Will's Kato Unitrack died, which is incredibly weird for Kato. That just absolutely boggles my mind because of the way they do designers. Anyways, it's probably a one-off. He probably just had a bad batch, you know. Extremely weird and out of the blue, especially for a Kato product, but what you're gonna do. So we made a decision. We were going to start over and do a new layout from the ground up and use cork and use flex track and everything, and do it in such a way that it could fit on the table he has. And this is basically the layout to get him by until he's got a place that has a room like I've got, and you know, he can do something a little bit bigger. So it's 4x6, all ripped from one sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, and then we took what was left after we cut the 4x6 foot section, and we ripped it into the cross piece and two end pieces about 3 inches tall. I kind of wish we had ripped it into 4 so we could build like pull-out drawers and stuff for to actually put his power pack and his DCC controller underneath and everything, which we'll work around it. He and I are both definitely fans of the digital DCC, but he also test run engines for the museum since we do all the model trains out there, and a lot of those are DC. And then of course I still have some of my stuff I had converted yet that's kind of nice to have a running area. I'm going to have one because the cold branch will be dual mode, but at this point I'm so far away from that I just see having go run on his. So we are pecking away at that. The track plan's already done. He's got all the flex track. Only thing we need to do is sit down and order the Pico medium radius code 100 curve turnouts. But all the rest of the flex track, he's got it. And then we might need some cork. I don't remember. But and then I told him he could use my wire, you know, some of my spare terminal blocks. He's going to need cable clamps and terminal blocks, so we're probably just going to sit down and order like a 70 or 80 bucks order from all electronics and get, you know, terminal strips and cable clamps, and I'll probably throw in a few 5 and 4 positions for me while I'm at it. But that's what's going on with that. So that's the other thing that has been eating my time very much so. And then of course both jobs, school and everything else. So, oh, and we are now the lawn mowing crew out at NARM, and we had the push mow. That's fixed, so they got the riding mower fixed, so we're going to use that next time. But so yeah, that too to deal with. Anyways, that's pretty much going to do it for this. A couple things to know about upcoming video footage real quick. Part of the reason I didn't get an update last month is, as I've mentioned a couple times before, and it's been a while, so most of you probably don't remember, but the camcorder, I finally just stopped using it because it was a hard disk camcorder. The video was getting fuzzy and the cord was not working right, so I couldn't get stuff off of it, and the SD card slot wasn't working. It wouldn't actually save it to an SD card, so I couldn't read an SD card. And then I do construction part-time, so between dust and dirt and everything getting into the phone, in the charge port on the phone is getting to the point that I try and pull stuff off of the phone and the computer wouldn't even hardly recognize the phone. Well, I could get it to work, and then I filmed the layout update, filmed all 3 parts. I went to actually upload it. It got up halfway through, it stopped, and I couldn't finish the upload. So I finally said, forget it. Will's driving with me to and from church tomorrow. It's Sunday. I know which one I want, and We just went out to Walmart and got it. So it's a Sony Handycam, 54 times magnification. This thing is great. It's got an HDMI slot, it's got an AV slot, it's got a micro SD card slot, so I don't have to worry about not reading it. It's got a lens cover, and so yeah, you know, it's pretty good. I'm glad I got it. So we are back at that. A couple of videos of footage to, let's see. Yeah, footage to note coming up. I have been getting clips from Nolan, not quite as much as I'd like. I've gotten busy enough that I mean to film it. By the time we get up there, get a couple hours of stuff done, it's late and I want to come home. It's like, okay. And then, of course, the troubles with the recording was probably part of it too. But so be looking for a layout update for Nolan's coming fairly soon. That I can record. And then a huge shout out to Will, who as always has helped me get a whole bunch of footage. There's a rail fanning video coming from, I forget the name of the town again, I always forget it, but we went on a rail fanning trip. We got some CSX and Norfolk Southern and a BNSF with about 5 Union Pacific locos spliced in. A Norfolk Southern and 2 UP locos. So it's almost like they took the BNSF, hey, we need some more power, and Norfolk Southern was like, well, we had just happened to have this extra power set over here, let's slap it on. And I know there's a whole lot more science to it in terms of assigning horsepower and the math and everything that's way over my head, but there's that, and we had a couple other neat surprises. And then it's kind of amazing. The last about 6 months since I put out the last round fan video, I've only caught like 3 Norfolk Southern trains. So you haven't seen the video because there hasn't been that well. But we'll probably roll that. I'll roll that clip either in that video, or who knows, I might tack it on this one. So, all right, guys. As always, thank you for the comments, likes, and subscribes. Those of you who are watching this through the link off of the Hocking Valley Mile Railroad and HO-Scale Facebook page, thank you for following the page, thank you for watching, and for those of you who are watching off Mile Railroad Hobbyists, thank you for watching. If you care to do so, leave so below in the comments, give this a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, comment down below, and if you do subscribe, click that bell icon so you'll get notifications. Click the like button because it satisfies the algorithm, and the better algorithm is satisfied, the more people see this video, so the more people I can get to watch channel. No, I'm kidding. In all seriousness, go ahead and do it. I don't really mind one way or another. It's just the video has a wider audience, the more people it like. It's the algorithm. So, anyways, as always, everybody take care, God bless, stay safe, and yeah, I will see you on the next video. Ciao, guys.